Hello and welcome to Patrick Come Lately Talk Radio. This is Stefan, your host, British by birth, American by choice. The Founding Fathers crafted some remarkable documents that led to the creation of a great country founded on liberty and self-reliance. I have lived in the Euro-socialist nightmare, and I'm doing what I can to return this country to the vision that the Founding Fathers gave us. We need to strive to rebuild that shining city on the hill, for without us, the world has nowhere to turn for freedom. For the next hour, I will be presenting news, views, and guests that help keep the true spirit of America alive. And good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever, whenever you're listening to the show. This is Stefan, your Patrick Come Lately, British by birth, American by choice, and proud of it. Just like, I like to say, just like the Founding Fathers. Remember, yes, they were British by birth, but American by choice. And I made that same choice. Welcome, folks, to episode 263, being broadcast today live on April 21st of 2015. An episode entitled Two Special Anniversaries and a Special Birthday. Well, anniversaries, sort of. I kind of stretched that word a little bit. And I'll explain that in a moment. First of all, of course, just the usual thing of saying welcome to the show, coming to you from South Florida. Yes, I'm still in South Florida. And welcome to my friends in the chat room. Paul and Rex are back again, my regular friends. So nice to see you. And welcome to this very special show. Well, why is it a special show? First of all, the two anniversaries. First anniversary in the sense of a repeated annual event, not which could be something like a wedding anniversary where it usually gets used, but it also applies to a birthday anniversary. And tonight, I have to admit, is actually my birthday. Yes, today is my birthday. And before you ask how many years, I'm going to tell you about the second anniversary, which will give you a clue as to which birthday it is. So, what's the second anniversary? The second anniversary is sort of forward-looking, i.e. it's the start of an annual cycle. And so, put differently, I now have 365 days, or maybe it's 364, I'm not sure. But anyway, let's call it 365 days until I am eligible to retire. So there you are, that's the clue. So, special night tonight, and so it's kind of nice to be doing the show on my birthday, stuck here down in Florida, but still with friends. Yes, and Rex has been doing the math. Obviously, you haven't been on the Percocet and 7 yet, Rex, because you got your math right. And talking about drinking, regular listeners will have heard me talk about my early birthday present, which arrived about a month ago. I got a Pico Brew brewing machine, and I've already brewed a couple of beers, which other people have tasted for me and seem to like, so it's seems to be going well. But what I decided to do last weekend, and it had to basically be this week, obviously with this birthday coming up, there was a special sour ale that I wanted to brew. Sour ale is sort of really a Belgian thing, but there are also some American companies now brewing these, and there is a recipe for one which is derived from a brewery on the West Coast called Russian River, that you have to ferment the ale for 12 months. And I thought it very fitting to take this day countdown to being eligible for retirement and call it my retirement beer. So I started that, and of course 12 months is a long time to wait for a beer, but by making it my retirement beer, I've got a good excuse not to cheat and not my birthday that I was actually talking about, but I'm also proud to say that last Sunday, so just a couple of days ago, my eldest daughter had her second daughter, and that's our fourth grandchild. So I'd like to say welcome to Olivia Lillian to the world, and hopefully you and I and all my listeners, we can do what we can to make sure that we leave the world a better place for you. And I can think of no better reason than doing that for children and grandchildren. And we'll see here, getting some things about losing audio. Is this working a little better? I think maybe having a problem with the network here again. We'll see. That would be unfortunate. Anyway, so granddaughter number 4 has arrived, and time for a little bit of celebration. But before I do that, I'm just going to play a short piece of music, and I'm going to try and adjust my audio and just see if that will go a little better. So just hang on a moment. And let's have some cheers for Olivia Lillian. No, unfortunately, that doesn't. It doesn't seem like I can change the audio quality there. I was wondering whether the audio quality might be adjustable, but it's that doesn't seem to work. So that's a little unfortunate. Hopefully, things are coming through okay. Anyway, celebration tonight, as I said. So I was hoping to treat myself to a Haagen-Dazs birthday cake, well, ice cream bar, but unfortunately the hotel little shop they have down there in the lobby has run out of the Haagen-Dazs ice cream bars, and so I had to make do with a Klondike Choco Taco. It was okay, but not Haagen-Dazs, obviously, but I do have a great beer. And no, this is not my own beer, but it's a local, awesome Florida beer that I discovered last week. It's brewed by the Cigar City Brewing Company. They are up in Tampa, and we went out down here in Fort Myers to a restaurant. I was looking down the list. They had a lot of craft beers, and I saw this, and I'd read about it in an article in one of my beer brewing magazines, and I thought, oh, really have to try this. And it knocked my socks off. It's a really great beer. It's Cigar City Brewing, and it's called High Ally IPA. Now, IPAs are normally very hoppy, can be quite bitter. This was really beautiful. And by the way, if anyone is from Cigar City Brewing is listening and hears this show and appreciate this free advertising, just email me and I'd be glad to send you the address where you could send a case of this lovely beer too. I am going to try and take a few cans home in my suitcase when I go home this weekend. I'll have to check my bag, unfortunately, but it's well worth it for this beer. So I will say cheers, folks, and if you ever come across it, try it, because it's a great beer. Oh, yes, yes. Now, having got through all the personal things, and I beg forgiveness for being a little personal at the beginning of the show tonight, but we also have serious things to talk about, and so I do want to go, and I'm going to start with my weekly summary, a cornucopia of short and sometimes longer topics on all sorts of different subjects, and throw in a little bit of my thoughts on this. So here we go. And this is Patrick Come-Lately's weekly summary, and the first topic here was something I saw that the DC Capitol Police are going to be investigating Trey Gowdy and a fellow Republican because of a photograph. And so now the Washington Press Corps have a phony scandal to investigate because Trey Gowdy, and chairman of the House Select Committee, who's chairman of the House Select Committee on Benghazi, and a real terrier. I really appreciate the way he goes after things and is really trying to dig out the truth. He posed for a Twitter picture with the fellow Republican, Ken Buck of Colorado, and they were holding an AR-15. And so the DC Police Department, which has nothing better to do, is on the case to see if the two conservatives violated the district's strict anti-gun laws. Oh, how terrible this is. The picture shows Trey Gowdy and Ken Buck holding this highly painted AR-15, basically with an American flag and other patriotic things on it. And the district attorney general had apparently received inquiries from news outlets, trying to find out if the picture was evidence of illegal activity. Yeah, right, illegal activity. You know, what happened? We had, who was it? The news guy that had an illegal 30 cartridge ammunition holder, which is also illegal in Washington. Nothing happened to them either. Anyway, the Daily Caller investigated this and found out that members of Congress are allowed by law to maintain firearms within the confines of their office, and they and any employee or agent of any member of Congress may transport within the Capitol grounds firearms unloaded and securely wrapped. So the rifle isn't even close to crossing the legal line either, because apparently the receiver, the most important part, the trigger part, isn't even in Washington. It's back in Colorado. It's just the top part, which so basically it's an expensive paperweight, which Ken Buck is holding in his office, and apparently it's in a cabinet under lock and key. But of course, yes, if the Republicans happen to have something like that, they've just got to track it down and find out what they were doing illegally. Isn't it interesting how the lamestream media sleep through every real scandal of the Obama administration? Solyndra, Fast and Furious, the IRS, Benghazi, destroyed emails, the IRS emails, Hillary's emails, all those things. It's crickets. And yet when there's a Republican involved, boom, everybody's jumping in and they're snitching to the police. Anyway, does it really surprise you? No, the lamestream media. Okay, so let's go on, and another topic for the weekly summary. Here's some good news. Senator Ted Cruz apparently has formally asked McCain, yes, that's right, that's a doddery old Senator McCain, to examine the law about guns on military bases. He's formally requested the Senate Armed Services Committee, and the chairman of which is John McCain, to convene hearings on whether U.S. troops should be allowed to carry personal weapons on military bases. I can't imagine why they ever did that. Is it just to neuter our military folks, to make sure that when they're on the bases they don't have access to weapons except the ones which would be issued by commanders who have sworn undying loyalty to the Führer? To the guy who lives in the White House. Yeah, I don't know. So this just seems so stupid that they're not allowed to carry firearms. If there's anybody who knows how to handle firearms, it's the military. So Ted Cruz has formally requested that, and in the letter he said there's great concern that the DoD policies prevent it, and it also places an undue restriction on their Second Amendment rights and detracts from their security. And of course Fort Hood showed us that. Anyway, Cruz has asked for this to be done, so I applaud Cruz for that. He did. Now, one small issue here before we go to break. Apparently he said he was lobbying for it, and then of course John McCain came out and said, no, he hasn't lobbied, he hasn't contacted me for it, and Cruz had to admit he may have misspoken, he may have been a little enthusiastic about how much he'd actually done in terms of lobbying, and he issued a statement to say that he hadn't yet contacted McCain directly, other than the letter, and McCain very nicely said that he accepted the apology, and he says, I value him as a friend, he is a friend of mine, and I value his leadership and participation on the Armed Services Committee. So John McCain perhaps being nice, and of course he's trying to be nice because I think he realizes Ted Cruz is going to do well in the upcoming election season, and John McCain wants to be elected again. And folks, what are we going to do? We're going to find someone who's going to stand up against him. Please, please, please. We've got to get rid of the doddering old John McCain. Anyway, I've gone well over the commercial break, so folks, time to pay the rent, and I'll be back after these messages.
You can lose 10, 20, 30 pounds or more with Maximum Slim's first ever rapid weight loss guarantee. Today, you get Maximum Slim, an advanced fat and carb blocker, absolutely risk-free. The all-natural ingredients in Maximum Slim are a powerful weight loss combination. The Maximum Slim formula turns your body into a fat-burning furnace that supercharges your weight loss. Advanced fat and carb blocker stops the breakdown of sugar so your body doesn't store it as fat. Today, you'll get both of these products absolutely risk-free with no obligation. Only pay shipping. There are no expensive meal plans or exhausting DVDs. Just take Maximum Slim twice a day. It's fast, simple, and now it's guaranteed. Look, you can start losing weight today or not. Go back to your high school days and wear your favorite jeans again. Guaranteed. Call now and get both weight loss formulas free. Call 800-451-0228. 800-451-0228. That's 800-451-0228.
Doc, you gotta give it to me straight.
All right.
'Cause I'm dying here. I mean, take a look at this letter from the IRS.
Oh, my.
This is killing me, Doc. I tell you, it's killing me.
Cheer up, my friend.
Huh?
The tax doctor is here. My diagnosis tells me that you're going to be just fine.
Really?
The tax doctor will not rest until we find you the best possible tax settlement.
Really, Doc?
Guaranteed.
If the IRS claims you owe them $10,000 or more in business or personal back taxes, call a tax doctor right now. We could save you up to 75% if you qualify. Guaranteed or you pay nothing. Call right now for free details.
800-917-8546. 800-917-8546. 800-917-8546. That's 800-917-8546.
This is Patrick Come Lately Talk Radio, coming to you live via the internet, via rebroadcast on WRSDB, the Red State Talk Radio Network, or from the recordings at archives.patrickcomelately.us. And folks, we're back in the show. after that little break for commercials and for me to take a sip of that lovely Higher Lie IPA beer, Cigar City Brewing. Are you listening? Remember, just email me. I'd love to send you my address. But we're in the weekly summary. Got some new topics, so let's move on here to the next topic. And I'd like to refer here to something that Glenn Beck said on his TV show, his internet TV show, The Blaze, on Monday, and asking why Americans aren't doing more for the Christians being persecuted in the Middle East. There's a recent video of now Ethiopians being shot. There are some questions about whether the video is real, whether it was doctored, because apparently they're saying there are some things there that it's been maybe changed for propaganda values. It's probably likely that the people in the video were murdered as shown, but they did some trickery to really make the brutes, the thugs behind them, look bigger and more threatening, because that's all part of the propaganda value, apparently. So, you know, it's not a natural video. There is some doctoring, and some people are going to say, well, maybe the murders themselves didn't happen, but they are happening. And Glenn said, and I think this was a great question, why does no one care? Right, when we talked about a Christian pizza parlor that was being persecuted, Christians did respond in large numbers. And remember, they collected over $500,000 for the pizza parlor, and the pizza parlor has kindly passed on a lot of that money, which I think is very Christian of them. What a surprise. But here we have people getting executed. Shouldn't there be a huge response to that? And he asks, why not? And it isn't just the shooting. People are getting beheaded, crucified, children are being raped and killed. Why no great outcry? And Beck says he can't find an answer that he's comfortable with. He thinks there may be several reasons. Maybe we don't react to them because many people don't think of the Greek Orthodox Church or Coptic Christians as being the same as other Christians. So might we care more if they were Methodist or Baptist or Catholic or Mormon? He thinks that we would. I disagree with him there. I don't think that is the issue. Is the present right? Might it be something to do with race? If the victims were white instead of Arab or black, would we care more? Maybe, but look what happened. How much were people in uproar, at least on the left, when Ambassador Stevens was killed, when other journalists got beheaded? Was there all that much uproar? Not for very long. Not from the left, especially. Yes, the Christians. And was there that much for those people on the Christian side? A bit more than the left, perhaps, but not a lot more. Or is it the fact that this is too far removed from our creature comforts? I mean, it's way over there in Africa. Could that be the reason that we don't really care? Maybe. Beck said the only reason he felt comfortable is that we feel helpless and we don't know what to do, so we don't do anything. But he said that's not a valid excuse, because we've always been told we can't do something and we do it anyway. And I agree with him in that respect. I'm not sure whether... Well, actually, yes, I think it is probably the reason that there's not a big outcry, because we don't know. You know, we feel helpless. We know we can't personally do anything, so there's this thing, well, why would I kind of get all worked up about it? I can't do anything about it. It's a bit sad that people think that way, but it's human nature. And he goes on to say, taking a story from the Bible where a Gentile woman asked Jesus for a miracle and his disciples try to chase her away because she's not Jewish. And he comes to her aid, and Beck says the whole point is to see people who are completely different than you, to reach out beyond your comfort zone, to reach to the outsiders. We forget that the second part of justice is mercy and compassion, and we have to have mercy and compassion for these people that are being murdered, the Christians that are being murdered in the Middle East by these thugs. And I don't know, I just don't understand. I'm going to be talking later in the show how I feel that the left has become so very, very evil, and they're siding with Muslims. Not all Muslims are evil, but there are a lot of Muslims who are doing these evil things, right? We have very extreme Christians like the Westboro Baptist Church who are bad, who are evil, but they don't do anything near as evil as ISIS does in the name of the Muslim religion. I mean, they're destroying priceless artifacts in museums for no real reason. They're killing people just because they don't believe in their perverted form of religion. Not just Christians, but also even people of the Muslim faith, if they believe in a different sect of that Muslim faith. I mean, to me, that's just pure evil, and I don't understand how this regime and the regressives all across this country are putting all these things that we have to kind of accept Muslims. Have you noticed, right? Schools are making girls wear hijabs, wearing headscarves and face coverings to know how Muslims feel. Schools where the ACLU used to have a fit if somebody came into school carrying a Bible and read it in their own personal time in the lunchtime, lawsuits left, right, and center, and yet when Muslims want to pray in school, oh, that's okay, that's no problem. I just don't understand why the left are doing this, and they're aligning with evil. And to me, if you align with evil, you are evil. And that evilness is infiltrating into the regressives. I mean, look at the IRS attacking people. Look at the DEA attacking people. I've talked about the very militaristic way that the Gibson Guitar Company was invaded. I'm going to have some more examples of all this sort of thing, this show of power that the people in power are trying to use to put us all down. Very, 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 very frightening. Anyway, let's see, how are we doing for time? Well, we've got time for another topic. And the next topic is about the latest book to surface about the Clintons and how coincidental it was that the Clinton Foundation, or Slick Willie himself, was paid huge speaking fees from countries where the Secretary of State Clinton all of a sudden very often reversed her policy on something that had been proposed that people in that country wanted. Talk about play for pay. Talk about corruption. And John Podesta went on to some of the Sunday shows to dismiss these allegations. He is, of course, Hillyer's campaign chair. And that's my new name, by the way, for Mrs. Clinton, Hillyer. I used to call her Hitlery or Hildebeest, but I think Hillyer is the best because left and right, she's been caught out lying. Now, of course, John Podesta told us the truth because he said about these allegations in the book, he dismissed them as being nothing new. And you look at those words and say, yeah, and you know how the regressives pass and choose their words so carefully so that it sounds good, but if you ever come back to them later and say, well, we were telling the truth, and he's telling the truth. There is nothing new about Hillary being involved in scandals and money and lying. there is nothing new there because she does it all the time. When she was on her tour in Iowa, she stopped at a diner and was telling stories about her grandparents. And then the truth started to surface. First of all, she said her grandparents were all immigrants, talking to some of the people probably in the diner who were supposedly also immigrants or from immigrant families. It turns out only one of her grandparents was an immigrant, not all four, as she intimated. So there we go. The first lie. Second lie, she just happened to stop by this diner and meet up with these people. It turns out these people were interviewed, grilled, selected by her campaign staff, and placed in the diner. And ordinary folk, like they were trying to put these people out to be, were not even allowed into the diner. So Hilario was telling a lie to people who knew that she was going to be lying, and these people were told what they could ask her, what to say to her. They were totally rehearsed. In other words, in effect, even though they were Democrat operatives, they were actually, you could almost class them as amateur actors because that's all they were doing. Okay, folks, let's... I see it's time for another break. I'm going to try and not be so late with the commercial break this time, so hang in there with me, folks, and I'm going to get to the shocker of the night shortly, but let's have the break first and then maybe a little bit of music after that, and commercial break first.
Patriot come lately, British by birth, American by choice. Just like the Founding Fathers. The voice of the conservative resistance.
And a beer for me too.
Every day, millions of Americans grow more concerned about the future of our great nation. The truth is, over the last century, a small but powerful collectivist movement known as progressivism has debased our politics, our culture, and our currency. We're just a small step from falling into 1,000 years of darkness, as Ronald Reagan warned. Friend, this is Pat Boone with an important free offer on a hot new book called The Great Withdrawal by Craig Smith and Lowell Ponte. This new book explains how we, the people, can end this fatal detour into big government and get back on the path of faith and freedom charted by our founders. Call now for a free copy of the hot new book called The Great Withdrawal.
Call now for your free copy. 800-978-3901. 800-978-3901. 800-978-3901. That's 800-978-3901.
Owe $10,000 or more to the IRS that you can't pay? Call now for immediate help. At the Tax Relief Line, we help people just like you. If you take on the IRS alone, you could be facing levies, liens, even wage garnishments, personal or business tax issues. If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS, call now and see if you can pay less. They can freeze your bank accounts, even garnish your wages. Call the Tax Relief Line now for immediate help. Our expert team of tax professionals will negotiate your tax problem and deal with the IRS for you. If the IRS is threatening you with levies, wage garnishments, or seizing your assets, call now and see if you can pay the IRS less.
888-789-5043. 888-789-5043. 888-789-5043. 888-789-5043.
This is Patriot Come Lately Talk Radio, keeping the spirit of America alive, a proud member of the Red State Talk Radio Network. Okay, we're into the second half of the show, and as usual, I'm going to remind my listeners, if you're listening live, I know I have a small number of people that do, and occasionally one of you pops into the chat room. Rex and Paul are there regularly. If you are listening live, there's a little speech button in that Spreaker dialog box where you connect to the show. click on that, join us in the chat room, put your comments and questions there. However, I know also I have a lot more listeners that listen through other channels, other avenues, and those are mainly recordings and rebroadcasts. And I do appreciate you all because you are a much larger number, so thanks for doing that. And if you want to contact me, send me an email, stefan@patriotcomelately.us, or go to my website, www.patriotcomelately.us, and you can click on the contact button and send me a message that way. You can also leave a comment at my archive site where recordings of the show are available 24/7, archives.patriotcomelately.us. And you can also leave comments, I believe, at radio.patriotcomelately.us, which takes you to the Spreaker.com site, which is the company that actually makes these broadcasts technically possible. But they also have facility for you to leave messages there, so that's also appreciated. Other outlets are, of course, RedStateTalkRadio.com, a great network with many hosts. I think there's about 24 at the moment over the week. Going great guns. Every month, Primo Mondoni is reporting to us that he's getting more and more listeners, and he deserves it. He runs a very good ship, very tight ship, and lots of good hosts there. You can also listen to recordings at the405media.com, which is another show, another network which has also a number of different hosts. Listen there. And finally, big news is that Patrick Come Lately Talk Radio is now available on the TuneIn app. So many people with smartphones use the TuneIn app to listen to either live radio or internet radio or podcasts. I qualify as a podcast because I only go out weekly, even though I do it live. But you can listen to the show there. I don't know whether they actually get the live feed from Spreaker, but I do know that they do pick up the recordings from Spreaker, and that's another way to get there. Now, so all these different avenues to listen, please do use them, and please tell your friends about them, especially if you've got a smartphone, you want to listen in the train or in the gym. TuneIn.com is a great place to go. And you can, with TuneIn, I believe you can also listen via computers. I haven't tried it yet myself, but go to tunein.com, search for Patriot Come Lately or Patriot Lately or Lately. There's not very many Latelys out there, and you'll find me, and you'll be able to catch the recordings from prior shows and also from the most recent show. So I'm rather proud of that, and I'm hoping that that's going to help increase my numbers. We'll see. So, in the meanwhile, let's see. It's my birthday, so I'm going to play some music, and I know this is one that Primo that Rex likes. I think Primo likes it as well, but I know Rex likes it. I like it as well. Of course, this is Krista Branch, one of those Tea Party anthems. Like I said, it's my party, and I'll play if I want to.
Say we just political gain. You hide your eyes and refuse to listen. You play your games and abuse the system. You stuff your pockets while Rome is burning. I've got a feeling that the tide is turning. I am America. One voice, united we stand. I am America. One hope to heal our land. I will not give up on this fight. I will not fade into the night. I am America. You stuff your pockets while Rome is burning. I've got a feeling that the tide is turning. I am America. One voice, united we stand. I am America. One hope to heal our land. I am America. One voice, united we stand. I am America. One hope to heal our land. I will not give up on this fight. I will not fade into the night. I am America.
And that was the talented and very beautiful Krista Branch. If you've ever seen her pictures, you can, I think you see them, go to kristabranch.com. You can buy her songs there. This is my favorite. She has other good songs as well. She's also available on iTunes, so please support these independent artists. They need it, and especially somebody like Krista Branch, who is helping support the conservative movement with her music. And of course you may know that Herman Cain uses this song as part of his campaign, and now uses it in his radio show. And in answer to Rex, I don't know what she is, but or he is Baptist or not. You do the research and you let me know sometime what you find out. Okay, yeah, some interesting discussions going on in the chat room this week. And by the way, guys, just to warn you, I noticed that if you go to Spreaker and you look at the comment area, the chat room actually gets captured and put in the comment area. So keep it family oriented, please. Anyway, let's see. I was going to do a bit more weekly commentary. Do I have anything? Things about Mark Levin, about how the Senate is capitulating to Obama. I'll save that for another week because it's already happened, so it's not all that important. One last thing, I think, and then we're going to get to the shocker of the week. And this last weekly summary thing is good news, because the American Freedom Defense Initiative, you should say, well, what's that? Well, basically, this is a group that is connected with Pamela Geller. You've probably heard the name. She is of Lebanese origin and is, let's say, very insistent on exposing what the Muslims get up to. And she has been running ads in different cities to try and help expose and counter some of the ads that people like CARE, etc., have been running on public transportation. And in New York, the MTA said that they did not want to, which is the Metropolitan Transportation Authority, sorry, I should have mentioned that. The MTA didn't want to run her ad because they felt it was a security issue. But a judge said, no, this is a First Amendment issue, free speech, so that's good news, and so they must run the bus ad from this pro-Israeli group. Now you should say, well, how can this be such a bad ad that they refuse to run it? Well, what did the ad say? The ad showed a man with a scarf across his face, so a kefi, those checkered scarves that the people like Hamas wear, with next to his face the words, "Killing Jews is worship that draws us close to Allah," attributed to Hamas MTV. Below that it reads, "That's his jihad, what's yours?" And this is in answer to some ads that CARE and other Muslim sport organizations were placing, trying to show that jihad was actually a peaceful thing. So this was countering that. And the judge ruled that that the ad qualified as protected speech, and the MTA has to carry the ads, although they were given 30 days to consider whether or not they would appeal the decision. And the judge noted that a similar ad had run in Chicago and San Francisco, by the way, also after court cases, but without incidents. And the ad said, look, New Yorkers are adults. People aren't going to riot over this sort of thing, and therefore the MTA has to put it on the buses. So within 30 days we'll probably have that, and we'll see what happens. Okay, last commercial break, folks, and then it's time for, like I said, for the shocker of the night, and this is really bad, and please stay on and listen to this, because you will not believe, if you haven't read about it already, you will not believe what you hear.
Reporting from the eye of the storm. This is the worst weather we've seen in quite some time, folks. And I don't see any end in sight. People have been calling in from across the state complaining their basements are flooding. One guy said he now has an indoor swimming pool in his basement. I told him he needs the waterproofing innovations from Basement Systems. If you want a dry basement or crawl space that will weather any kind of storm, you need the patented solutions from Basement Systems. You've seen them on home makeover shows throughout the country. With a lifetime warranty, every solution is custom designed for your basement. Call now for a free estimate, and you'll never have to worry about storms like these again. I'm predicting this storm front is heading your way, so call Basement Systems and relax.
Call 800-205-8665 for your free in-home inspection, or visit basementradiooffer.com. That's 800-205-8665, or visit basementradiooffer.com.
I've owned my company for 14 years now, and I can tell you that payroll is a 4-letter word. I hate doing it. It eats up hours I don't have, and it costs me money I could be saving, but my accountant's too expensive, and I'm not sure who to call. But I know I need help.
We're Paychex, and we take all the hassles out of small business payroll. We save you time and money. It's easy. Call, fax, or give us your payroll information securely online, and we take care of the rest. We calculate the correct taxes, manage payments and direct deposits. We even send out your checks. Payroll doesn't need to be a 4-letter word anymore. We're so sure that we can save you time and money that we'll give you a month's payroll free. Just for calling 877-750-5371. Get 1 month's payroll for free. Call Paychex right now. 877-750-5371. That's 877-750-5371.
This is Patrick Come Lately Talk Radio, coming to you live via the internet, via rebroadcast on WRSDB, the Red State Talk Radio Network, or from the recordings at archives.patrickcomelately.us. Okay, folks, we're going to end this week with the shocker of the week. And this one is called Wisconsin's Shame. Comes from the National Review Online. Won't be able to handle all of it in the time available, but need to tell you some of it. Let's start with the first part of it. Cindy Archer was one of the lead architects of Wisconsin's Act 10, something that was introduced by Scott Walker. also called the Wisconsin Budget Repair Bill, which limited public employee benefits and altered collective bargaining rules for the public employee unions. Very unpopular, as you may remember. One night she was jolted awake by yelling, pounding at the door, and her dog's frantic barking. The entire house, the windows and walls were shaking. She looked outside to see up to a dozen police officers yelling to open the door. They were carrying a battering ram. They were going to batter down the door. Now, why would that be necessary? Why? I talked about this in recent shows. There's this incessant militarization of the police. Why would they be doing that? Anyway, she wasn't dressed, but she started to run towards the door, her body in full view of the police. Some yelled at her to grab some clothes. Others yelled for her to open the door. Can you imagine that? All these brutes, these thugs, because this is what they were, yelling. She said, "I was so afraid I didn't know what to do." She grabbed some clothes, opened the door, and dressed right in front of the police. The dogs were still frantic. She was begging, "Please don't shoot my dogs. Please don't shoot my dogs." She couldn't get them to stop barking, and she saw the police with drawn weapons, and she thought, barking dogs. She was scared, and she knew that it could end badly. She managed to get the dog safely out of the house just as multiple armed agents rushed inside. Why would they need to be armed? Why would they need to rush like that? Don't you just knock at the door and say, "We've got a warrant, we need to come and get some stuff"? But no, it's got to be done in this thuggish, intimidating way. And, you know, we have a lot of good police, but we also have a lot of bad police. But to a certain extent, I feel sorry for the police in this case because they were sent, and we're going to find out shortly who sent them. And that was very disappointing. Anyway, they went through the house and did this. Now, who sent them? Well, this was a district attorney in the city of Milwaukee called Scott Chisholm, and he had arranged for that to do that. After they'd torn through Cindy's house like a whirlwind, they left carrying only a cell phone and a laptop. Scott Chisholm is a district attorney, a Democrat district attorney, who doesn't like Scott Walker, and he started this John Doe investigation, investigating something totally different, but used it to expand it, and all sorts of people associated with Scott Walker who helped develop this bill, etc., had similar raids. I'm going to go into more details next week because I see that the clock's been ticking on me and it's almost time to go. So I was hoping to tell you more. We'll have to take this over to next week because this is really bad. This reminds me of Germany in the 1930s, and it is just disappointing that our country really has come to this at this point in time. I can't believe that this is really happening. Okay, folks, next week, more on this. Tell your friends if you like the show. Tell your enemies if you don't. And remember, tell everybody as well, TuneIn Radio is a new way to listen to the show. I see that the music is starting, which is my indication. I have to say TTFN, ta-ta for now. See you next week, and thanks for coming. Thank you for listening to the show. I hope that you enjoyed tonight's topics. Whether you listened live, to a recording, or to a rebroadcast, I appreciate the time you share with me. We need to spread the message of liberty far and wide, so please tell your friends and family about the show. Thank you for helping to keep the beacon of hope burning. This is Stefan, your Patriot Come Lately, signing off. God bless America, and remember, L3, long live liberty.